Hey, family. Hey, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. It's Brandy coming to you again, just to kind of talk about something that's on my mind. I always say that, kind of talk about something. But yeah, I wanted to share something. I relayed that my angle is to break down what we see happening around us, and how it pertains to prophecy and ultimately us, coming out from these lands and being regathered, right? But another angle of mine, I believe it's half and half. One half is breaking down what the enemy is trying to do at the same time. How everything that's happening relates to prophecy and our gathering. And then on the other hand, I am realizing that through the things that I present and the things that are on my mind, that another angle of mine is to expose the lies in Eurocentric Christianity, whether it be in the eschatology or the theology they present. Um, it I feel like me being so deep into Eurocentric Christianity, that coming out of that, I'm able to look back and see all of the twisting and the turning of scriptures and eschatology and these ways about Christianity that just are not right. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, the basis of Christianity is salvation through Yahusha, but on that foundation they build a bunch of things because they uh, sincerely don't understand, because like I always say, to who was given the oracles of Yahuwah, it was to the Israelites. And so, they take these scriptures and they try to, dissect and try to package it, and unpack it as much as they can, package it back, and then try to give it to you. But and a lot of times it's wrong the way they give it to you. And shalom, essential growth, shalom, smooth flight. I'm sorry. Thank you for coming and join me. I just wanted to, come on real quick and just relay something that's been, on my mind as of this morning. And I tell y'all that sometimes, things come to mind and I start talking about it with my husband, and then the next thing you know, I'm here. And so shalom, Vampy. Thank you for coming to join me. But what I want to talk about today, real quick, is the animosity towards the law, towards the keeping of the commandments of Yahuwah. You understand what I'm saying? And it's a really deep thing, and I'm hoping, I've seen a lot of our brothers and sisters try to reason and try to tackle this situation. Shabbat shalom, tackle the situation. But I'm a type of person where I like to sit and I like to talk things out. I'm not going to try to jam it down your throat, but I like to reason too. You know what I mean? And so maybe I can better reason, you know what I mean? Or maybe I can add my 2 cents in, and that will, help someone see, what it is that we're all trying to say, so the animosity towards the law, right? And so a lot of times in Christianity, coming from that and coming from Eurocentric Christianity, there is a saying that they love to say, right? Which is what? You're not under the law, you're under grace, right? They will scream that at you, right? You're not under the law, you're under grace. Now, obviously, we know that for salvation, you must come under the blood of Yahusha, right? For soul salvation, right? None of us are perfect. None of us could keep the law perfectly. None of us could be that sacrifice. Father Yah provided that sacrifice for us. So obviously, we know that, we don't obey the law to save our souls. We obey him because it's the right thing to do. But when they scream at you, you're not under the law, you're under grace. For salvation, clearly we understand that. But what is with the animosity toward those that want to obey the Father? You understand what I'm saying? There's a deep animosity. Okay, so my question is, why the name calling? Or what okay. And by name calling, I mean this. When you say, you know what, I honor the Sabbath. I try to honor the feast days. So on and so forth. Another thing they will say to you is you're legalistic, right? And they will spew that out without really thinking about it. It's a almost a jerk response to you saying that you honor the things that the Most High put out, right? And so, what does legalistic really mean? What do you mean by legalistic? Okay. Uh, Legalistic to me means what you're trying to say is you're following the statutes and the laws of the commandments of the Most High, and I don't like it, right? You want to honor the appointed times of the Most High. You want to keep the Sabbath. You want to keep the things, keep the festivals that retell the historic events of the chosen people, and even how the Most High, a lot of the not a lot of, but the feast days tell the plan of salvation, right? We want to keep those festivals to retell the historic events, and not only that, but show what the Most High has done for the world, right? You're saying you want to do that. You want to keep the commandments. You want to retell the history. You want to tell how the Most High has intervened for the world, and I don't like it. You know what I mean? That's what they're saying. Essentially, they don't like it, right? You would rather honor the festivals of the Most High than honor these pagan festivals that were put into place. To pay homage to these false deities, and I don't like it. Essentially, that's what they're saying. And so, Shabbat Shalom, Janice, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So, I'm reading it to show love. Also, if you love me, keep my command. Exactly. And so, they don't like that we're trying to do what the Most High put in place versus, following these pagan rituals and these pagan festivals and so on and so forth. So I like to say, if you call us legalistic, then you're paganistic. You understand what I'm saying? And the latter is far more true. You're paganistic because you would prefer. It's almost like to prove that you have accepted the blood of Yahusha as your for soul salvation. You're going to turn your back or turn your nose up at those that decide that they're going to obey their father, right? And so, I shout out to my husband that brought this up. We were sitting on the couch and we're talking about this, and he said, what is the root of this mentality? And the root of this mentality is the Council of Nicaea, right? Where they came together and they sought to abolish the ways of the Hebrews, where they said you can't keep the Sabbath, you can't keep the festivals, and then they replaced it with what? With Easter and with these pagan practices and so on and so forth. And so the root of that animosity is the birth essentially of Christianity, where they tell you to, don't worry about doing what the Most High told you to do. We're going to do it like this, and you're going to follow this. Shabbat Shalom, daughter of Yah. You're going to follow it this way. You're going to do it this way. It's syncretism, right? It's you don't want us to do things the way the Most High set these parameters and say, hey, this is how you do this. This is for forever, right? You would rather us what's the word I'm looking for? You would rather us fold and come into your paganistic practices to prove that we're good Christians, which is totally backwards, So, like I was saying, my husband said that the root of this mentality is the abolishing of the ways of the Hebrews and bringing in these pagan practices, so on and so forth. And so the animosity, I believe that the animosity against the law and against those that keep the law, there's a spirit, and there's an evil spirit attached to that. And I know because being in Eurocentric Christianity, whenever someone brought up the law, there was a discomfort and a upsetness that would come over me. Like, I'm under grace. You know what I mean? And so it's a defense and almost like a bite that comes over people when they say that, no, I don't have to keep the law. I'm under grace, And so it's a spirit. Because if you notice, whenever you bring that up, whenever you say we're going to do things the way the Most High said do it, they get upset, they get angry. That's a spirit. That's an evil spirit. Shabbat Shalom, William Smithers and Dwayne Reese. Shabbat Shalom. And so, I'm sorry. I will read that in 1 second. Um, yeah, and so I just wanted to kind of, you know, address the animosity. Like, we don't grow unless we are humble enough to admit, that we're wrong, or that, we need, there's things that we need to address. And so, to the Christians that say, you're legalistic for wanting to keep the Most High's laws. You're trying to be, you're trying to work out or you're trying to gain your salvation through works, or for those that lift their nose up at us because we want to do what the Most High said do. You have to realize that there is an issue, there is a spirit attached to that, um that disdain that you have for the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. You know what I mean? Like, you got to realize that in a lot of things in Christianity, it's almost like mind control, right? You're with these phrases. You're not under law, you're under grace. You're legalistic. There's no Jew or Gentile in the body of Christ. Jacob's trouble, Jacob's trouble. They throw these phrases out there, and it's almost like when you hear it, your mind goes to where they want it to go. I hope I'm clear on that. But so just looking at my notes here. So again, we understand, those of us that choose to obey the laws, the statutes and commandments of the Most High, it's just about obedience. It's about honoring our Father and our Creator. If He says do things this way, we're going to do it this way. If He says do things that way, we're going to do it that way, and that we're not going to implement things that He wouldn't be for. For the Gentiles that come back with us when we're gathered, you think you're going to bring your Christmas tree and your Easter eggs with you? No, it's not going to work like that. We're not going to be doing those pagan things anymore. And there's scripture that I'm going to pull out that's going to back that up. You're not, if you wouldn't do it with Yahushua here on earth, if you wouldn't erect that tree, with Yahushua on earth, and you wouldn't egg hunt with Yahushua here on earth, then why would you do it now? You know what I'm saying? If you know it has nothing to do with Him, why would you do it? And it's because I truly feel like there's a evil spirit attached to, the animosity. That's where it comes from, the animosity towards the law. And I'm not saying that all Christians go out to they are bent on trying to go out there and figure out how they can sin and how they can disobey the law. That's the strange thing, and that's why I believe it's another reason why I say I believe it's a spirit, because like my husband and I, we were typical Christians. We're trying to do the best that we can do, and so on and so forth. And we weren't out there trying to blatantly sin. But if anybody mentioned the law, then we would get upset. Like, no, we're not under the law. So even with trying to walk right as a Christian, you still have an animosity towards the law. And that's a problem, because, the Most High has given us guidelines so that we live a good life. We live a righteous life, right? And the Most High has given us appointed times so that we can honor, like I said before, the historic events that happen, with our people, and also showing the plan of salvation, right? Through the feast days, right? And how he invited the Gentiles in as well. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's not a salvation thing. It's an obedience thing, and it's a honoring what the Most High wants us to do. And so I just want to bring out a couple of scriptures here. And before I do that, I want to give this example, right? Okay, so a parent takes care of their child, right? They clothe them, they feed them, they nourish them, they provide for them, right? Okay, so say that said parent, right, that clothes, feeds, provides for them, says to their teenager, 18, 19, all right, I have a curfew for you, and your curfew is 9 o'clock p.m. I expect you in this house, right? Is that child then going to disobey their parent just because they know that their parent clothes and feeds and provides for them by default? You understand what I'm saying? Or is that child going to honor what the parent says do because it's the right thing to do? It's the same thing with this situation. Yes, the Most High has given us salvation under the blood of Yahushua. Yes, He provides for us and He looks out for us and takes care of us. But am I then going to disobey or have a disdain for His laws and for how He wants me to do things because I don't have to do that for salvation? It's a disrespect, and that's a problem, man. If Christianity is bringing a disrespect and an animosity toward the ways of the Most High, toward doing the ways of the Most High, you have to check yourself and go, wait a minute, that's off. That's really off. I'm supposed to honor and love and glorify the Most High, but Christianity is giving me a spirit of animosity and disdain toward what the Most High tells me to do. That's a problem. And we have a troll. Okay, well, Ruhama, sister, I don't know how to. I don't have any. Maybe I can make you a moderator, right? Boom. I think I just did it. And so if you can get someone out, I appreciate it. I'm not expecting to have trolls because I'm not doing anything but sharing, sharing how I see things and just bringing forth the truth. And if I get some, oh, you're welcome, sister. If I get some trolls over it, then hey, you know what I mean? You got to have tough skin, when you're trying to bring the truth. And I noticed that through my brothers and sisters that are out here, putting in this work. You have to, you got to be ready for some trolls. You know what I mean? And so, all I'm saying is that, like the example I gave, a parent takes care of a child, does what they need to do for the child. If the parent then says, be in this house at 9:00, then the child shouldn't be like, why should I have to be in the house at 9:00? He going to take care of me anyway. My mom going to take care of me. Why? No, okay, mom. Okay, dad. I'm going to do what you say do. Right. Set your growth right. And so, yeah, that's basically it. But I want to bring out some for all the Christians that are around here saying that we don't have to honor the law of the Most High or so on and so forth. I just want to bring out a couple of scriptures that I'm going to go to really quickly, and just prove that the Most High, not only will we, not only is it important to honor what He says do now, but we will in the future, even in that millennial reign. See, you want to be a part of the kingdom and so on and so forth, but you don't understand that you're going to have to listen to what the Most High says do. You're not going to be able to just run around and be like, oh well, do what I want. It's not going to be that type of situation. So, Zechariah 14, all right, 17 through 19, and it shall be that whoso, okay. Hold on, I'll start at 16. Zechariah 14:16. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem, right? Because that's Ezekiel Armageddon, Ezekiel 38. It shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, right? The Most High of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles, right? So you're keeping the feast, right? And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Most High of hosts, or the Elohim of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. So there's punishment for not coming to keep that Feast of Tabernacles, right? And if the family of Egypt go not up and come not, that have no rain, there shall be the plague wherewith Yahuah will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles, right? This shall be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. So, yes, absolutely. Yep. So, when Yahushua comes and He reigns, with that rod of iron on earth, you will keep the Feast of Tabernacles, or else. You understand what I'm saying? Another verse that I would like to bring up really quickly is, we will go to, let's go to Deuteronomy. Let's go, and see what the Most High says about. I'll go really quickly. Deuteronomy 30. Okay, it says, and it shall come to pass, Deuteronomy 30, 1-3, it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among the nations whither Yahuah thy Elohim have driven thee, and shalt return unto Yahuah thy Elohim, and shalt obey His voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that then Yahuwah thy Elohim will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will turn and gather thee from all the nations whither Yahuwah thy Elohim have scattered thee, right? And so the Most High says that we will return and obey him, right? We will do what he says do. Ezekiel 36. We'll go to that really quickly. Let me see which verse that is. Okay. Ezekiel 36:24 through we'll go through 27. For I will take you among the heathen and will gather you out of all countries and will bring you into your own land. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and you shall be clean from all your filthiness, and from all your idols will I cleanse you. And a new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes, and you shall keep my judgments and do them. Right. And so, again, we're talking about the animosity towards, the keeping of the law for obedience. There is an animosity in a spirit that's attached to the animosity and the disdain toward doing what the Most High says do. I had someone say to me that keeping the feast day, we want to keep the feast days. Well, people will say that's legalistic. But what does legalistic mean? What does legalistic really mean? It means you're doing what the Most High says do, and I don't like it. You want to, abstain from these pagan rituals and festivals to honor what the Most High said do, the festivals he put in place, and I don't like it. So legalistic. That's a ask somebody to explain to you what legalistic means when they bring that out to you. When you say, I'm doing what the Most High said do, and they say it's legalistic, well, ask them, well, what does that mean to you? What does it mean? Because I guarantee you they can't give you an answer, because that is a phrase that Christianity has given people to throw out in defense of you saying we should be doing what the Most High said do. You understand what I'm saying? So I just I want people to understand, mainly Christians, to understand that there's a lot of holes in Christianity, in theology and eschatology, and we need to go back, and you need to, even if you don't believe we're the people, you need to go back and examine these feelings that you have, or these thoughts that you have toward the things that the scriptures say that you should be doing, or even go read these scriptures these phrases that they throw out, like Jacob's trouble. Go and search that out and read those chapters and see, is it really being taught the way that it should be taught? You have to, you can't take things. It's almost like watching TV, and you're sitting in that there's a certain type of mindset that you get into. It's actually scientific, where your brain cuts off, the thinking part of your brain, and you're just taking in information, right? And you're taking in information. And so that happens with Christianity. It's like the thinking part of your mind is turned off, and then you just take in whatever they say, and then you apply that, right? There's a problem with that. We should be able to we should be able to break things down and search things out for ourselves and say, wait a minute, what does this really mean? Wait a minute, you can't take things for what people say, because we're all, women and men. We no one has it, 100% right, so search these things out. But shalom to everybody that has joined me in the chat. I appreciate it, really do. And DJ's upstairs right now with the children. So it's just me, but I just it bothers me, it bothers me to, when people are so combative against trying to do the right thing, when people are so combative against just trying to be a righteous child, you know what I mean? And so that's pretty much what I wanted to share. I'm going to go over through these comments really quickly. Again, thank you for everybody that came to join me. I hope I was clear, and I'm looking at all these eyes Ruhama had up. Yes, sis, I think you have a troll. That's crazy. Oh man. That's so crazy. I'm not, and this is the thing, and this is the animosity I'm talking about, right? This is the animosity I'm talking about. I'm talking about doing what the Most High said do. The fact that when Yahushua comes, we're going to do what He said do. When we're gathered, we're going to follow the law, statutes, and commandments. How are we going to be a holy nation and a set apart nation if we're not doing what the Most High said do? That's the definition of set apart. We do things this way, right? And y'all do things that way. So let us show you what happens when we do things the way the Most High tells us to do. Let us show you how blessed we are. Let us show you how we flourish as a nation, right? That's the whole premises of Deuteronomy 28, isn't it? If you do what I tell you to do, if you do these things, if you honor me, then you will be the head and not the tail. Then everything that you put your hand to, will flourish. Then, you know what I mean? And if you don't do that, right, then this is what happens. And see, they don't understand that. It doesn't understand that, or I'm sorry, they don't understand that what happened to us is about to happen to them, right? The scriptures say that all these curses, right? I believe that's in Jeremiah 30. All these curses, He's going to put on our enemies, right? Because why? Because they're not honoring Him. The same outline that the Most High gave us, right? If you follow my laws, if you do what I say, if you worship me, if you honor me, then I will make you the head and not the tail, right? And so now, since they're not following Him, since they are, look at the state of this nation and the state of the world, it's all backwards, it's all twisted. How Luciferians and how Satan is. If the Most High says do something one way, then He wants you to do it the opposite. And that's another thing about another reason why the animosity is so strong in Christianity towards the laws, because again, the Council of Nicaea is the foundation. Shout out to my husband for bringing that out. It's the foundation of that mentality. And the Council of Nicaea was literally about abolishing the laws of the Most High and making, and forming Christianity, right? And so I'm reading what the curses are coming on them, and no, they can't understand this smooth flight. They can't understand it, but they feel like they don't get that it's because of us, and they won't get that it's because of us until we're born as a nation. You know what I mean? It's like a clicking will happen. You know what I mean? Like what it talks about in Ezekiel 39. They will understand that we were scattered because of our wickedness and the wickedness of our ancestors, so on and so forth. It's going to take some time for them to get it, but the like I was saying, the curses that are on us are flipping on them, because the same guidelines that the Most High gave us to honor Him and everything, and then He would make us the head, they're not doing. So therefore they have to become the tail. The Most High is going to put His Spirit in us. He's going to write His laws His laws on our heart. You know what I mean? And then once we will become the head. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just an obedience thing. Like, why can't we understand that it's just an obedience thing? It's an obedience thing. Just do what the Most High said do to honor Him as your creator. What is so difficult, or what do you want to fight about? What is there to fight about? This is common sense. If the Most High says do something this way, then just do it. There has to be a fuss about it. There doesn't have to be a term attached to that, legalistic, or you don't have to scream, at us. There's no, I'm not under the law. I'm under grace. We know that for salvation, it's about trusting in the blood of Yahushua shed from you, trusting in and the Lamb that was slain from the foundation of the earth. Right? We know that it's about Him. When it comes to salvation of the soul. But why wouldn't you want to honor Him and do what He says do? Why would you turn your back and snuff your nose at people that say and call them a cult because they want to do what the Most High said do? That's you best check your heart, because I'm telling you, in your Citric Christianity, I have that same heart. Yeah, I love the Most High and wanted to do right and try to do my best. But if you mention keeping the law, even I had I'm not under the law, and so I just I'm going to read what this person is saying here. I'm just going to go over some stuff. Speaking of Sabbath, I wanted to ask your opinion on the earth entering its Sabbath day of creation. The earth is 599 years. Well, check this out. No. This is what I believe. Let me see. You see, Prof 80 Prophet. I don't know. Oh, Prophet of Yah. Okay, I got it together. Sorry. This is what I believe. Watch this, right? Okay, so if the Most High said you're and I wish I could bring this up because I don't know if I can highlight this um, on um, on the channel because I'm not coming from StreetYard. But if you see, Prophet Yah said that they wanted to ask my opinion on the earth entering its Sabbath day of creation. The earth is 5,998 years old, according to scripture, which means Yahusha's or Yeshua's 1,000-year reign must be close. Well, if you think about this, right, you get to the sixth. If a day for Yahuwah, and this is my opinion, but a day for Yahuwah is as 1,000 years, right? Okay, watch this. So if we're coming to the 6,000th year, if the Sabbath is the seventh day, then we're still on the sixth day. The Sabbath day doesn't start for another 1,000 years. You understand what I'm saying? Do you feel what I'm saying? And so I believe we still have another 1,000 years until that seventh day. Because we remember, you rest on the seventh day, you don't rest on the sixth day. So if we're coming up on 6,000 years, close to the sixth day, right? Then we still got 1,000 years until we get to that seventh day. And then from that seventh day begins the rest. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that's my opinion. And I used to think that too, like, oh, we're coming up on 6,000 years, but something wouldn't click. It just wouldn't sit right, because I'd be like, but if we're coming up on the sixth day, don't we have some time? We got to get to the seventh day, right? And all praise to the Most High. I addressed this before, but according to Scripture, according to Isaiah, that our I believe our lifespans are going to be extended, like in the old days, in the old times, because according to Isaiah, it says that if a man dies at 100, it'll be as a child died, right? As if a child died, right? And so we know that when Yahusha comes and we get glorified bodies, nobody's dying. So clearly he's speaking about before Yahusha comes, right? So if a man dies at 100, it would be like as a child died. And also the 23rd chapter of Jubilees talks about how men's life will begin to draw close to 1,000 years. You understand what I'm saying? So I still believe that we have that our lifespans are going to be extended. We're going to be a different people. You understand? But I still believe we have some time until we get to that seventh day, and then begins that 1,000-year reign. And so, yeah. And let me see what else we got here. And like I always say, I'm not a teacher. I just give my opinions. I believe that the Most High has given me the ability to understand, and has given me some wisdom and the ability to kind of to dissect, the things that are around us, like a lot of us, and say, okay, what does this mean in regards to prophecy pertaining to Yasharal, pertaining to Israel? The Most High has given a lot of us the eye to see the workings of the enemy, and how he's trying to work against us. Now that we know it is all about us, now we can see him coming from a mile away and go, okay. But I do like to share opinions there. And so when I share things, I do say it's my opinion, because I am not called to teach necessarily. I believe that I'm just called to share from a perspective of someone that I believe that that the Most High has given me the ability to see certain things. So I ain't nobody special. I mean, we're all special, but I'm not like, So I just give you my opinion. And so yeah. And let me see where Prophet Yahuah. Okay. Okay. And that's, you know what? And I'm all for us sharing our thoughts. You know what I mean? I share my thoughts. And if you have thoughts or opinions, you can share those too. I'm not a type of person that will argue you down or try to debate you. I never come to a conversation. It depends on what it is. If it's something, if it regards to salvation, in regards to the word, if I can read it plainly, then I'm going to come stern in my position. But I'm a type of person that likes to hear a person out. And if your point is valid, then I have no problem with humbling myself and say, okay, and changing my view if it's necessary to do so. You understand? I'm not a person that is like, this is it, and you can't change my mind. And I think that Yeah, we speak only about what we know. Yeah, and I think that's an issue when it comes to this animosity towards the keeping of the law. When you try to present, this and just a, we don't have to argue, but I'm just trying to present it to you. Hey, keeping the laws of the Most High is about obedience and respect. It's not about salvation. And as simple as I just put that out there, you still have people that want to argue with you and say, "Oh, it's legalistic." Well, please explain to me what is the problem with what I just said, you know? And so, yeah, you have people that want to argue with you, but I just wanted to share that basically, I truly believe that this animosity, this that comes, from the Christian world is it's troubling. It's really troubling because what you're essentially saying is that we should not be following the Most High and what He said, and we should follow these man-made laws and these man-made festivals and that pay homage to false gods, and if we don't celebrate those festivals, then we're not real believers, that we're not really about the Most High. If we don't do what you do, and essentially you're disrespecting Him, you really are disrespecting Him when you decide that you are going to adhere to syncretism and follow these pagan rituals, and then try to sprinkle a little bit of the doctrines and belief system of the Israelites in there with it, mix it up and give it to you. Essentially what you're doing is you're being disrespectful, and then you're upset when someone tries to bring it to you in a way to let you know, hey, that's disrespectful. So I just wanted to present that. Yes, for all of us that are here, we know we know that the law, keeping the law, has nothing to do with our soul salvation. We are presenting that is just about obedience. And like I said before, check your heart. If you have animosity, or if it makes you upset like it used to make me upset when someone would say, hey, we should be keeping the laws. If it makes you upset to hear that, there's a spirit attached to that. It's an evil spirit and it's not of the Most High. And you need to be humble enough to sit back and check that and go, wait a minute, something's not right about that. You got to be humble enough to say, I'm wrong, and something's wrong with how this is being taught. Something is wrong with that spirit that's going around, that combative spirit against the law. Something's wrong with that, you know, and honestly, you need to pray about it, because you have to pray through that, and you have to get that spirit off of you, really, because there's coming a time as a people, you know that Hebrews, that we're going to follow the laws of the Most High. The scripture said we're all going to be righteous, right? Well, what does it mean to be righteous? Right? What does it mean to be righteous? Yes, first of all, you're going to have to be under the blood of Yahushua. And then also you're going to have to do what the Most High said. The scriptures talk about no longer will someone eat the sour grape, for what someone else did, but every man will die for their own iniquities, right? And so there are iniquities, and it's not just one iniquity, meaning you didn't accept the salvation of Yahushua. That there's iniquities, you do things, and therefore it comes a time where you will die for those things. Instead of us dying for what our ancestors did, now we're going to die for what we do. And so those that are considered a curse, that live at, like the scripture says, and I'm going to read it real quick. That you'll be considered accursed if you died at 100 years, and then also you would be considered a child, right? It'll be as if a child died, right? I'm going to read that really quickly. Let's see. Sorry, guys, I'm coming off of my phone here. If my phone acts right. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Isaiah 65. 65:20, there shall be no more, therefore, there shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that hath not filled his days. For the child shall die 100 years old, but the sinner being 100 years old shall be accursed. You see, so if you're a sinner being 100 years old and considered accursed, then what? Right? Then you are committing iniquities. You are sinning. You are not keeping the laws and the statutes and commandments of the Most High. Therefore, being a sinner, right, 100 years old, you're considered accursed. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not, this kind of, when I think about Christianity, it's kind of like, oh, type of attitude. Yeah, I love Jesus and the rapture and so on and so forth, but I have grace. Yes, we have grace through the blood that was provided for us, that sacrifice, right? That was provided for us. Yes, we were given grace. You understand what I'm saying? But it's still outside of that grace. There is a grace towards your iniquities. Like, oh yes, if we sin, we have an advocate with the Father, and that is Yahushua, right? That's if we sin. That isn't like, well, I can be laxed about it. No one's putting you in bondage, and that's another thing they say. Now you're trying to put us under bondage, because our ancestors couldn't keep the law. So why are you trying to put us under the law? We're not trying to put you under the law for salvation. We're not telling you keep it for salvation. We're telling you to keep it for obedience, for respect, for honoring the Father, out of love, right? A lot of brothers and sisters are saying, if you love me, what do Yahushua say? If you love me, keep my commandments, right? If you love me, keep my commandments. So it's very simple. And so, to the brothers and sisters out there that I'm not trying to argue with you or make you feel bad about it. I just want you to think about it in just in a what's the word I'm looking for? In a just a mindful fashion. Just think about it and go, is there a animosity attached to the law, to the keeping of the law? And why is that, perpetuated through Christianity? And how do I feel about law keeping? And if it's a negative, feeling toward that, then you need to check that and deal with that and come out of that and say, you know what? If you say I do love the Most High, I do love Him, so therefore you should desire to do what He says do. No one's trying to make you fulfill the law so that you gain salvation. It's about respect and honor, and so and love, and so yes, like Sheila said, His commandments are not grievous. It's not like you're like, oh man, whew, man, it's so hard. Oh man, I can't lie. What kind of I gotta follow. I can't steal. I gotta love my neighbor. Oh man, no, it should. This is simple. This is simple. And if you can't reason through that, there is an issue. Something that bothers me is if I can't reason with you, because like I said, I'm not combative. I will hear you out. I will talk to you. Reason. Let's reason together, right? Isn't that how the Most High is? You know what I mean? Like it's not. It's not. It doesn't have to be a fight, but let's think about it. You think about it, okay? If you are prone to throw out the term legalistic, or say scream at the top of your lungs, I'm not under the law, I'm under grace, or you can't put me in bondage. When someone says, hey, I keep Passover, I keep unleavened bread, I keep Shavuot, I honor the Sabbath. If it makes you, when someone says that and suggests that you should too, out of love and respect, check your heart. And it's okay, because we have to check our hearts about a lot of things. But this is something that has to be gotten over, because this is going to be important for our nation, that set apart righteous nation. We don't do what the other nations do, right? So there ain't, like I said before, there's no Christmas trees and Easter eggs when we get to the land. You understand? When we leave these coasts, you best not be over there in the wilderness trying to erect a tree or this and the other. That is And that's another thing. The Most High said He's going to purge out the rebels. What does it mean to rebel? What does it mean to rebel? Right? What does it mean to rebel? It means to do the opposite of what the Most High said, to go against what He said, right? And so you will keep the laws, and you will keep the statutes, and you will keep the commandments, or you won't enter into the land. And for the Gentiles, the scriptures I read earlier, you will come up and keep the Feast of Tabernacles, or else you will come up from Sabbath to Sabbath and new moon to new moon, to worship before Yahushua. You will do that. You don't have to say so. You can't say, well, that you're going to stand in front of Yahushua and tell him that's legalistic. Are you? Can y'all imagine that? Can y'all imagine somebody standing in front of Yahushua? Yahushua said, you're going to come up and keep the Feast of Tabernacles, ruling with that wrought iron. He said, you're going to come keep the Feast of Tabernacles. You say, well, to me, that's legalistic. Would you stand in front of Yahushua and say that? No, you wouldn't. You know what I mean? And so that's you best check your heart. Check your heart. It's okay. It's okay. We have to search our hearts, right? And we have to pray and see, where we're lacking, where we're falling short, where we're wrong. You got to be humble enough to do that. So I'm going to read through real quick and see what some people are saying. Oh, right. Ruhaba said, I ain't going to fix my face to tell Yahushua that. Right. No, sir. The audacity. If you wouldn't say it to him, you best don't say it. Don't say it against those that decide to honor him. You know what I mean? If you wouldn't tell him, you want to read through Exodus again. I think that'd be a good thing to do. Obviously, during Passover season, and right. Imagine arguing with Yeshua to keep a pagan day. Are you gonna say, well, Yahushua, this tree honors you? No, you wouldn't. You know what I mean? You wouldn't dare bring that to him. Yahushua, I want to paint eggs, for Ishtar, for Easter, you wouldn't do that. And so, hopefully the points I presented, were okay. The thing about going live, you guys, is that you try to get all your points out and try to make it as clear as possible. And sometimes after you get off, you come back on like, you're like, man, I forgot to say this, or, I should have relayed that, or I should have been more, it's a whole thing, y'all. But I just wanted to relay that, that animosity that's in Christianity, and it's only in Christianity, it's troubling. It's a problem, and it needs to be addressed, and people need to be real with themselves and say, hey, this is a problem. I shouldn't feel this way toward being obedient to the Father. You understand? You shouldn't feel that way. And I didn't realize how bad it was until I got out of Christianity, your Eurocentric Christianity, and started to follow the Most High, but just following Yahushua and not attaching everything that Christianity, kind of tries to attach to the walk. I didn't realize how much animosity I had toward those that, would mention the law. It's a thing. It's a spirit. It's an evil spirit. But I just I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna like I keep saying, I'm gonna read a couple of these comments, and then I'm gonna roll out. And Teo Ministries is coming on at 5:00. That's going to be awesome. And I'm looking forward to that. Iniquity equals lawlessness. Okay. Oh, husband's in the building. I read my husband's comment and I was like, who said that? There's DJ. Hey, DJ. Iniquity equals lawlessness. Yep, absolutely. Lawlessness. What is it? You know what I mean? And I've okay, lawlessness. Come on now. It's not hard. You ain't got to be, so bunched up about it. You know what I mean? I'm not talking to my brothers and sisters that are clearly here or that are listening, and we're all pretty much on the same wavelength. I know there are some brothers and sisters that feel like you have to keep the law for salvation, but I'm not talking about that. Most people understand that we keep the law, we honor the Father, we honor His statutes and His commandments out of obedience, and so that we are righteous, and we're going to be set apart. We're supposed to be set apart. So the ways of the world, do what thou wilt, right? Do whatever you want, That's the way of the world, right? And the pagan nations, that's their way. Well, what's going to be our way, right? Our way is following Yahuah and being righteous, and so therefore the nations will look at us, right? That's the whole plan, right? Nations will look at us and say, wow, look at how wonderful nation they are. Wow, look at how Yahuwah's in the midst of them. Wow, I want to know, you know, I want to know Yahuwah. If there's too much mixing, the church goes along with everything that the world does. There is no set apartness, so, and Lion Pride said, Revelation 14:12, here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Yahuwah and the faith of Yahusha, right? Okay. So it's just, don't have to be against doing the right thing. You don't have to be against loving the Most High and honoring Him and wanting to be righteous. Those keeping His laws and statutes and commandments, they make our walk right and tight. You know what I mean? Like it's not. It's not to, like Sheila said, the commandments, keeping His commandments are not grievous. It's not about trying to control you and make you a robot. It's about doing what's right. And the Most High knows what's right, and accept that, So I'll read a couple more of these here. Okay. Yep. All right. All right, brothers and sisters. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for coming to join me. And just listen to my thoughts and in regards to this, and hopefully there are people out there in the church that will if this gets to anyone besides that one troll I had. Shout out to the fact that Ruhama kicked him out. Can't believe I had a troll. It's a new day. All right. But if anyone sees this video that has animosity towards the law, please dissect that and sit back and pray about that and think about that, and just hear me out on the fact that this is obeying the Most High is where no one's trying to come against the way of salvation, which is Yahusha, which is the blood of Yahusha. No one's doing that. It's all about honoring the Father, doing what He says, doing, living a righteous life, because He has provided those guidelines, and also with the festivals that He's given us. That's to recount the historical events of His chosen people. It's important. Recount the historical events as well as showing the plan of salvation, as far as Yahusha dying on Passover, being on the ground in unleavened bread, being raised on first fruits, so on and so forth. That story, this is what the Most High has given to us to do, and it's for a specific reason. It's not just because the Most High is always intentional on the things that He does, and intentional on the things that He instructs us to do. And so, love Yahuwah, love Him, and do what He says do. And that's all. That's all. So Shabbat Shalom, family. I see y'all on Teo Ministries video at 5:00. And I'll talk to you later. All right. Take care.